The following marketing information and discussion is provided for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as professional guidance or consultancy. You should find an agency for that. Comexis is a digital marketing agency, so feel free to hire us. But otherwise, just enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Buyer's Journey by Comexis, a discussion-based podcast on the ever-changing marketing landscape. I'm Matthew McGrorty, the social media content producer here at Comexis.
I am Len Moore, the managing partner at Comexis.
And I'm Josh Lyons, the digital marketing coordinator here at Comexis.
So today is Friday, and on Fridays we typically talk about the advocacy stage of the buyer's journey, but we're taking a step away from that today to talk about the earnings reports and earnings calls of the platforms and businesses that are pretty vital to our digital marketing campaigns. So all this week we've been talking about them, and today we are talking about Snap's earnings report. So generally speaking, this is how the company did compared to analyst projections. All this information is coming from Salvador Rodriguez on CNBC. I will link his great piece on it if you are looking for any more info as well in the blog description. So loss per share was 10 cents versus 12 cents according to a forecast by Refinitiv. Revenue was up 320 million versus the 370 million forecast by Refinitiv. The global daily active users was 190 million versus the 187.22 million forecast by FactSet. And ARPU was $1.68 versus $1.62, also from a FactSet forecast. Snap also kept its user growth momentum going on Tuesday, saying it now counts 190 million daily active users, which, as I mentioned, was up from 186 million last quarter. Snap's share price is also up more than 100% year to date after a fast start in 2019. They've also seen some resurging user growth, and Snap, as we've mentioned on the podcast before, though I don't know if we specifically went into detail on this, Snap has announced a new gaming platform. They have some new original shows, an ad network, and more augmented reality features, and they're also doing a complete rollout of its re-engineered Android app, which is something that Evan Spiegel, the CEO of Snap, mentioned on the earnings call as well. He mentioned that they are delivering strong results across businesses with growth in daily active users and revenue. And I mean, that's basically it for the Snapchat earnings call. So what do we think about this?
All right, so Snapchat, obviously, regarding platform is on the same level as Twitter regarding how much money you want to put there. I do think that if you are a B2C, business to consumer advertiser or company, and you run the marketing for your company, and your demographics falls into Snapchat's demographics, which I think, what is their demographic? Something like 13 to 25, something like that.
Yeah,
it might be 13 to 28.
I thought it was early third.
It could be. I
thought it was like 13 to like 30.
But the crux of that is really like
it's the younger audience.
It's 13 up.
Yeah.
So when you look at the shares, and I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, the loss per share is 10 cents versus 12 cents. That simply means that how much money they're losing is beginning to go less and less. That's basically what it is. So that's one thing. The revenue is obviously 320 million versus 307. So clearly ad dollars are coming into the platform, but they're coming in tepidly. They're coming in like they want to know what it is. If you are a B2B marketer, if you are selling hardware, if your target audience is Len Moore at 46 years old, you do not need to be advertising on Snapchat. And if your agency is advertising on there, fire them. So it's just not the marketplace. However, if in looking at these numbers, this is becoming a more stable area to start advertising. Now, at Comexis here, we officially will start moving into Snapchat. We hope at some point Q4 for a couple clients we're going to move into. We think that what Snapchat does, it may not drive conversions, but it will drive awareness among the younger audiences for products of companies that we hope to have on as clients, that are trying to get their product out there from an awareness stage. I know a lot of people, if you want to kind of look at it from an investment standpoint, that's not what this podcast is, but this is a stock that's gotten really beat up. This is a stock where when it went public, people were like, it's going to get crushed, and it did get crushed. This was a company that was not ready, did not know how to monetize their ad dollars. Their ad platform when they first went public was god-awful. They have finally figured out to do a self-service platform. They figured out how to let people make this much easier to market on, and it's become a little simpler to understand the Snapchat model. That's one of the major reasons why this stock got hammered. This is a company went public way before it should went public. This kind of reminds you of where I came from, the dot-com era of companies that should not have went public. You're not ready yet. Let it bake in the oven a little more. So the numbers you want to clearly look at regarding advertising decisions on Snapchat going forward, you clearly want to see the revenue next time around go north of 320. And this goes back again to the active users, like I said before, where on other platforms, active users like Facebook, we don't care about anymore. Twitter, we care about, obviously. Snapchat, we clearly care about. We want to see how many users are on there, how many people are staying engaged on there. So again, these numbers are basically showing you what they're showing you. If you're advertising right now, I'm maybe 5%, maybe 7% of your ad budget goes in here. But if you are trying to reach the younger audience and build momentum amongst younger audiences who will go talk to their moms, dads, or decision makers, or people with money in the house to make a purchase, Twitch, Snapchat, YouTube, things like that, where kids are. But Snapchat, what the advantage it has over Twitch, which is very expensive to do advertising on, Snapchat is not as expensive and you can get in there. Same with YouTube. So it's, again, this is definitely a stock. Don't listen to what search engine land's telling you in marketing and ad age. Look at the numbers here, because if the numbers are increasing and the stock numbers look, or the revenue numbers look good, and the earnings model or the earnings forecast looks good, let's back up on that. This is a stock where what you want to do is you want to actually look at the numbers on their earnings report, and if it is, moving in the right direction, your ad dollars should follow immediately behind it. A lot of people advertise on Snapchat because they think it's the right thing to do. The reality of it, these numbers are beginning to show that yes, you do want to move in there, but your percentages just shouldn't be that high. So this is probably, out of all the platforms we've talked about, Snapchat is one where I'm all ears on listening to earnings reports going forward, because that is clearly going to dictate whether ad dollars are in there. And I need to see a level of consistency over and over right now for me to clearly walk into every client and say, if you're B2C, we are going to start off by saying right now 10% of your budget needs to be in Snapchat. Now let's talk about everything else. There you go.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how, because we talked about in the other episodes this week, we want to be able to see, ideally, time on site. And for Snapchat, given that they're now branching off into in-app gaming and stuff, all within the platform, et cetera, I'm really interested in seeing those numbers, because I want to know what it looks like from now and then after they make that gaming change, whenever it is. They've obviously just announced them, so they're not rolling anything out immediately. But I think that'll be one of the things where, we always talk about, daily monthly active users, monthly active users, very good to know, but, obviously that doesn't necessarily mean that they're staying on for as long as we'd like. I think this is one where, because they have such a small amount, if you can show that they're staying on for a super long time, that'd be incredibly beneficial. Because we know people go on Facebook all the time. We know people are on Instagram all the time, Twitter all the time. Snapchat, I believe younger audiences are going on there very frequently, but it would very much help to get a nice solid number on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Josh?
I agree with everything.
Oh, thanks, Josh. Nice.
I mean, personally, for me, when I'm on Snapchat, I'm either on there real quick, like I'm going in, seeing if anyone's like talking to me, see if there's any stories, or I'll be stuck on that Discover page for like 30 minutes.
There you go.
So it is interesting to find out what the time on the site is per each time you log in, if that's how you want to, how you want to determine it.
I mean, I also think it's important to keep in mind, for those of you who don't know, Josh and I are I'm 23 and you're 23 now.
I just turned 20. I forgot I was 23.
We're kind of aging out of the platform.
Yeah.
Like their range is 13 to 28, and I don't see getting rid of Snapchat anytime soon. I still have friends on there and things like that. But we are not the hardcore monthly active users.
And the craziest part is, if you asked me 5 years ago, I was right in there. I was using it nonstop. It wasn't even at its peak of what it could get to. It was very basic Snapchat, and I was still on it every day for a very long period of time. And now, as times have gone on, I've obviously aged out a little bit. I still use it, not to the extent that I used to, but there you go. That's saying it in itself, where we're in that, like, I guess, intermediary phase where we're not like the prime target, but we're still in there and can get targeted for the little things for the amount that we use it. So
you guys are the last generation. Like, you guys are like although you may or may not be using Facebook a whole lot, but my kids are at the Snapchat age, and it's like, even my youngest at 8 going on 9, when he grabs the iPad and he has like his account on the iPad or home iPad, that's how he'll interact with you. Like the same with my 12-year-old and my daughter at 17. That's how they're interacting. So you guys, it's almost like you're the boat sailing away, and like you're on the or they're the boat sailing away and you're on the dock. You're like one of the last that didn't get on that. Yeah. So you're truly seeing where I look at the generation of the 30-year-olds behind me. You guys are there, and Snap. Quite honestly, going forward, Snap's not going to target you guys. Snap's going to target my kids.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm very interested in these earnings reports going forward. That out of everything going on right now, Snap is a very different social media platform. We all know that. It's kind of cool when you know your way around it. I only know it because it's how my kids interact with, how we interact, on social. So it's very different on how to do it. That's why I'm very interested where we may talk about 10% of where you're going to be putting ad dollars in Snapchat. In 3-4 years, when the 17-year-old turns into somebody with money, there could be a whole lot more money being moved to Snapchat. Yeah. So I think that's kind of
now you have there's a new platform called TikTok, if you're aware of it, that has been integrating very, very closely with Snapchat and Snapchat's demographic and who they're looking for. So
that's just a matter of time for Snapchat.
Exactly, and it's because it's another visual platform. It's a lot like Vine. Yeah. I know we talked about this, Matt, yesterday, but
I miss Vine.
Yeah, I miss Vine too. And the way I described Vine was visual Twitter. So Vine
6-second visual Twitter.
Vine was 6-second visual Twitter. TikTok is now becoming
15-second
Vine. And all of that is under the same idea of what Snapchat is, because Snapchat doesn't have a limit now. It used to have a limit. Now you can sort of branch it out as long as you want. So it's all trickling down, but it's all leading back to what Snapchat is. So again, in 4 or 5 years, it will take over as like the visual video type platform for those younger kids that are growing up and again are making money and can purchase things. So it's interesting. It's cool.
That's all for today's episode of The Buyer's Journey. Check us out on Comexis.com, YouTube, and anywhere you can get your podcasts. And follow us on Twitter at buyers_journey. Thanks for listening.